for treason. They want to overthrow government. They wrote that off, return his passport, and all of that done. Our own person, Oluye Sunday Igboho, held in Benin Republic, the same DSS withdrew all their charges against him in Nigeria. Like, we are not looking for you anymore. Gave a green light to Talon in Benin Republic. And just like that. But Nnamdi Kanu, why is that? So those of you probably think the Igbos they always love to claim victims. Any small thing they love they love to always say they are victims. If you are not seeing it, if you are not seeing this systemic profiling and targeting, you are a bigot. There's no excuse for that. I promise you. Listen to this.
But the Attorney General also takes instruction from the Commander-in-Chief, President and Commander-in-Chief. So that was why we were appealing to the Commander-in-Chief to direct the Attorney General to invoke Section 174 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic as amended, Section 174 1C, Section 174 subsection 1C, and subsection 3 basically talks about the powers of the Attorney General, that an Attorney General at any time before a judgment is rendered has the authority or the power to be able to withdraw a suit. So we want him to take care of that, and also to invoke Section 107 and Section 108 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which basically talks about discontinuance of a criminal case and the withdrawal from prosecution. So we believe there has been a precedent set in other cases, whereby recently the chairman of Metiala was at the determination of the court. His matter was settled. Sunday Igboho, at the determination of the court, his matter was gone. So at the determination of the court, and rightfully so, his matter were gone. Emefiele, I keep pronouncing his name wrong, the former CBN governor, was granted bail. Emefiele was granted bail. It now appears that as if Nnamdi Kanu, who was also charged alongside these other people for the same treason, appears that there is one set of rules for the rest of Nigeria and one set of rules for an Igbo man. And there is also one set of rules where a Northerner is freed, a Yoruba man is freed, a Middle Belt, South man is freed, and then when it comes to the Igbo man, he will continue to languish in prison. So there's an issue of injustice, regardless of the expectation of bias that people may have regarding Nnamdi Kanu or not. Is it material, is inconsequential? But in this country, everyone is subject to the rule of law. And I'm so happy that Justice Nyako recognizes that and has given an opportunity for all the parties to come together. And we're appealing to the president. I have known the president to be a listening and attentive president, and that I would not wish to see the president to do otherwise. Doing otherwise will render the Southeast to continue to be savaged by bloodshed. Every single day, many people, scores of people are being killed mercilessly in the Southeast, including military officers. The high level of crime and criminality, banditry, assassination, and kidnapping continues to be the order of the day.
And these people are all taking advantage.
These are all taking advantage of the incarceration of Mr. Kanu, because all these people are agitating that he's still there. But once we remove Mazi Kanu from de facto, then it's a lot easier to know those who are benefiting economically from crime in the Southeast and making Southeast ungovernable. And a lot of people are not going home. But
is that not what I said too? They couldn't present anything or any evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. Rather, they just want to keep him there. Adjourn the case. Because he is Igbo. It is so hard not to see it that way. It is so hard. Like, there's no amount of pretense you want to try to build around this. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody knows that Boko Haram and his gang, they considered everyone that contributes or was contributing to waking the consciousness of the people up. At the time, you are considered as a terrorist. Why Fulani terrorist? Boko Haram terrorists. They call them repentants. They are releasing terrorists and they are jailing activists in Nigeria. Trump up their charges just to make themselves feel better. We all know that. Even though when they are doing their best to at least find something that they can actually probably try Nnamdi Kanu with, they are still finding it difficult. You know that. I know that. Even some of you who wanted him to be jailed or killed, you still couldn't find any ground to say, okay, this is why we're going to kill him. This is why we're going to jail him. Your court couldn't even try him. I'm just saying. So tell me how you are going to try and build something around it that is going to make it look like it's not about being Igbo. What did Nnamdi Kanu do than what they told you he did? Release him, let him go. Then we can see those behind the insecurity here and there. Your unknown, politically sponsored unknown gunmen that you actually know. So you see? And that is why we said that the terrorists are still roaming. People talk about them. They are holding meetings here and there. What should we do to these terrorists and their cows? So what will you do? Even now, you probably will think justice should take its course. We need justice. Even cows get it. I mean, even cows self, they need justice. See them at the Federal High Court, Abuja, yesterday. I don't know if those cows were there as litigants or defendants, whether they were engaged or they were just like roaming around as usual. But they were there. They themselves, they were listening to the court proceedings inside. It's a contraption for a reason, okay? So somebody shared a video and they said from last night, around the Seme border, they counted over 200 trucks loaded with what they believe is rice. Now, there have been some confusing sort of, report on that. Some said, no, all of the seized imported rice by custom, they were being loaded and being moved across Nigeria to be shared to Nigerians because of this hunger. Others said, no, they'll be smugglers. I don't know what they are, but thousands of trucks have loaded what is believed to be rice, bags of rice. And you probably will see more of them around. Some said, if they were smuggling all of this inside Nigeria, from where? And why do they need to smuggle them in when they can just import them in, pay duties, and then crush the price of food, as some people have been expecting? I still haven't gotten any answer, but watch the video.
I don't know. Because of this thing, I think it might be two.
It should be two.
Bọ́dá, mélòó ló wà wájú? Mélòó ni wájú?
2,000.
I ló bí ní 2,000. Mélòó ló wà wájú? Mélòó ló wà wájú?
Méjì wájú. Ẹni sanwó rẹ̀.
Kí ló sọ?
Agbára yóò gbé ni.
Agbára ló ń gbé. Okay. Ẹ ṣé màjà.
Àìsí fún wákàtí àìsí.
Nigeria, we are hungry. No food, no light, no water. Pepe is cost, Gary is cost. We can't even buy rice. See our children hungry. No food, no light, no water. Pepe water. Pepe is cost, Gary is cost. We can't even buy rice.
So that was the Nigeria-Benin Republic border. Dark, pitch dark, or pitch black. No light, no nothing, and anything could go through. There is still no real answers. No answer to that, to those mysterious trucks moving in the middle of the night into Nigeria. But someone came and said, "Na customs with 2,000." Like somebody actually said, like it's about 2,000 trucks, 2,000 of hey. No one has a clue what is inside, and if it's actually rice, no one has a clue if they are consumable, if they are actually safe for consumption. But they are going to probably flood them if they are not already rebagging them in Nigeria right now. But if it is the government that sees them and they are going to distribute them, right, to the IDPs, to the poor Nigerians, isn't it better for somebody to come out and tell you or show you the proof that that rice or that food is safe for anybody's consumption? I don't think the kind of hunger within Nigeria right now, I don't think that hunger need any explanation much. Just bring the food. We'll discuss about the effects later. Sad situation, you'll say. Now, I have two options, because I've got more to say, but I'm going to keep them because of my time. I've only got just about an hour to go. I want you, my viewers, right, all of you brethren, I want you to tell me which would you prefer. Should we go take calls, have a chat around this, or we should just use that hour to read the 12th chapter of White Malice? That is the continued reading. So you will tell me. When I come back, I'll see your choice, and then we will do just that. Okay. So if it's going to be phone calls, or if it is going to be reading, either way, right? Don't go anywhere without leaving your own like, which is your offering. I'll be back. tongue. Thank you very much. I think a lot of us prefers that we read. Indeed, we are already lagging behind anyway. So we have, hang on, no, chapter 12. So we have to start from chapter 12, page 143. So thank you so much. Listen, if you really have to go, what you need to do is to try and leave, what do you call it? Your offering, which is like the broadcast. Okay. So I will try and read as fast as possible. Not like a reading fast, though. I don't mean that. So to those of us who have been following this historical piece as well, why did the white or the West chose to truncate our supposed beautiful drive towards independence because they feared if Russia was going to grab us, and they wouldn't let that happen without a fight, even, you know. So let's read chapter 12, okay? And that's going to be Voice of Africa. Let me see if my camera can pick it. Can you pick it? Come. No, it can't. Or maybe this one can. So that's chapter 12. It says the Voice of Africa. Sorry if you can see it. So let's get on with it. After independence, Nkrumah had asked his trusted friend, George Padmore, to move from Britain to Ghana to take on the role of advisor to the Prime Minister on African affairs. It will be a crucial post in the implementation of their shared vision for Africa. Padmore will report directly to the Prime Minister, not to the Foreign Ministry, which would give him considerable freedom. Padmore accepted the post with pleasure and started work in December 1957. His wife, Dorothy Pizza, joined him in Accra, and they settled into a sunny home with a beautiful garden of flamboyant trees and bougainvillea. But Padmore had no plans to relax. He was working at top speed. He wrote in a letter to Webb Du Bois in February 1958, as he threw himself into the planning of the first Conference of Independent African States in Accra in April 1958. For this, he went on a tour of all the capitals of the independent states. His chief aim was to give liberation movements all over the continent the help and support they needed on a range of fronts. His office established and coordinated the African Affairs Center, a large complex of buildings near the Accra airport, to house refugees and students from the colonies of Africa. Alfred Hutchinson, the refugee from South Africa, that's Hutchinson, who unexpectedly turned up at the AAPC, was immediately taken under Padmore's wing and given shelter and support. Felix Roland Momi, the anti-colonist leader from Cameroon, who attended the AAPC, proceeded to use Accra as a base from which to organize the guerrilla movement in his home country against French occupation. Education was a central focus of support for freedom fighters. The feeling noted T. Ras Makonnen, who ran the African Affairs Center, said, "My feeling was that we had to provide a training as well as refuge. We would be fools to let the communists train such people." Robert Mugabe, who would be the first democratically elected premier of Zimbabwe in 1980, went to Ghana in 1958, where he studied and taught. There he met his future wife, the Ghanaian Stanley Ephron Hastings Banda, who became the founding prime minister of independent Malawi in 1964, benefited from Ghana's support as well. He practiced medicine in Kumasi in Ghana until Nkrumah persuaded him in 1958 to return to Nyasaland to take part in its campaign for independence. One student from Nyasaland, Bright Yodo, recalled in 1961 that it was because of Padmore's ability to connect the changes in Ghana with Nyasaland's own struggle that he went to Accra to study. I was much impressed, he said, by his simplicity, by his sincerity, by his sympathy with my efforts to educate myself, and above all, by his great interest in my country, Nyasaland. Nyodo completed his primary and secondary school education in Ghana. Padmore took care of Africa, observes Cameron Duodu, enabling Nkrumah to devote himself to the affairs of Ghana. Their dream of Pan-Africanism was achieving real success in some part of the continent. On the 1st May 1959, Nkrumah and President Sekou Touré of Guinea announced that their two countries had forged a union with common citizenship and a shared national flag and anthem. The two leaders also extended an invitation to other African states to join them. President William Tubman of Liberia invited Touré and Nkrumah to a conference in mid-July at Saniquili, a small Liberian village. After intense negotiations over 4 days, they issued the Saniquili Declaration, which formulated 6 principles for the achievement of a community of independent African states. The CIA, monitoring developments in Ghana, took note of Padmore's central role. In June 1959, a report was sent to CIA headquarters after the inauguration by the Convention People's Party of a school for party members to train them in political work. It noted that Padmore gave the first lecture, which concluded with the prediction that within the next 50 years, the whole world will be towing the socialist line. The new school, noted the report, was located at the African Affairs Center near the airport and took place every weekend. In early 1959, Padmore predicted confidently that there would be a United States of Africa in our own lifetime, in all Africa. But his own lifetime was about to be suddenly cut short. He was feeling increasingly unwell and went to London for medical treatment, where he was diagnosed of a liver ailment. On 23rd September 1959, he died at age 56. Nkrumah was overwhelmed with grief. One day, he said sorrowfully in a tribute over Ghana's radio, "The whole of Africa will surely be free and united, and when the final tale is told, the significance of George Padmore's work will be revealed." Pizza carried her husband's ashes from London to Accra, where she was met at the airport by a somber group. Arrangements were made for the laying of his ashes to rest within a wall at Christian's Burj Castle. Patrice Lumumba was one of the special guests invited to the memorial, along with Nnamdi Azikiwe of Nigeria.